How do we usually start this? Hello, everybody. I am your host. Fuck.
That's not how you started at all.
Okay,
Fuck
sorry.
it, you know what this is at this point.
Yeah, alright. Welcome to Every Marvel Movie Ever. I am your host, Gabe Thomas. With me, as always, is our co-host, Francisco Alcala. Today, we are talking about Howard the Duck from 1986. I don't even have an excuse to be weird this week because it's very cold out. It is not super humid like it was last time.
Maybe that is the reason, because it's really cold.
Yeah, I maybe I just don't do well in extreme temperatures.
Even though you're from New Hampshire,
Yeah.
so like you shouldn't care about the
Well,
cold.
What's that? Not seasonal affective disorder, but is there like a version of that's like for weather?
No.
That makes you worse at podcasting?
That'd be a really oddly specific
condition, yeah. Okay, well, anyway, we're talking about Howard the Duck 1986. It feels really good to watch an actual movie this week. Finally. But guess what? Our next two episodes are Hulk movies. I thought we had The Punisher for next, but nope, fuck us. So, yeah, but that'll be fun. And then I think it's only actual movies and a few failed TV pilots, which we can handle because they're going to be fun. But we're going to do trivia. Trivia's going to be a little different this week because, unlike the other movies, there's actually a lot of information on this because, like we said, it's a real movie.
There was an entire, hour documentary on the DVD that we had, so there's a lot.
We're going to be talking about trivia kind of dispersed throughout the episode, but I'll start out with just some basic stuff. As everyone probably knows, this is not a very beloved movie. A lot of people think it's one of the worst movies ever made.
It was a dumpster fire at first, but I love it, so it's fine.
But even looking at it as not, it's silly fun. What do you...
Yeah.
I think it's the best Howard the Duck movie you can make in 1986.
I don't know what you would have expected out of a duck from space in the 80s, honestly.
It's a perfect duck from space. Goes to Cleveland movie.
Cleveland,
sorry.
Cleveland.
Yeah, okay, well, Howard the Duck first appeared in Adventure into Fear, number 19. In December of 1973, written by, of course, Steve Gerber, and illustrated by Val Merrick. Eric. I'm not gonna try to even say it. I'll put a clip in of him saying his own name.
Val Merrick.
It's like a Gal Gadot situation. Gal Gadot? I don't know how to say that shit. Yeah, so played by the man, Ed Gale, and voiced by Chip Zien. Chip Zien... this is in the special features. They used Ed Gale's voice until this movie was completed, and then in post-production they just threw Chip Zien's voice over because they thought it would work better.
I thought they said that it was too muffled.
Yeah, well, I think because he was talking out of the suit.
Yeah.
But then they were just like, oh, Chip Zien, his voice fits better. But I think he does a great voice in this movie. In the special features, they were talking about how Martin Short and John Cusack interviewed for the voice of fucking Howard. I would love Martin Short as Howard the Duck. I think that would have fit. This is unrelated, but speaking of weird comic book voice casting, have you watched the Patton Oswalt and Jimmy Kimmel when he's doing a MODOK animated TV show? He talks about how, maybe I'll put the clip in. He talks about how,
So there are times when I will do the lines and I'm trying to do this, I am MODOK, like a MODOK style voice. And the other writers and animators you can probably use your own voice. And I don't want my voice to match that.
And they're doing an animated Howard the Duck show.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Howard the Duck is shining right now. Good for him.
It's calling it now Howard the Duck in Phase 4.
We have Howard the Duck since Phase 2.
But he hasn't actually been in a movie.
No, not as anything.
Yeah.
It's popular. Literally this movie won 4 Razzies, which for people who don't know, the Razzies are basically the nega Oscars, the worst movie awards, which that's ridiculous. This movie is treated so unfairly.
It's not a Doctor Strange, that's for sure.
No, it's not.
It's not even close.
It's not. This is so much better than anything we've talked about.
I think we can safely say that it's better than Spider-Man. It's the first time.
Something's finally dethroned the king. We finally have something. Talking about the negative reception for the movie, which, again, we'll talk about more later, but on the DVD, Ed Gale was talking about how,
Then Howard became what I call sitcom fodder. Some show I saw, they were having a party. The party flopped. This party's worse than Howard the Duck.
That's unfair. It's Gloria Katz, who's the co-writer, and Willard Hayek is the director, which that's pretty funny because Hayek is like a cartoon sound effect. Yeah. But that's what Goofy says. They were just trying to make a crazy absurdist movie about a duck from space who teams up with the lead singer of a glam rock band. And I don't know why people are so harsh on it. I think a lot of it is because, like, is it for kids? Is it for adults? We have tits in this movie, but then, like, it's about a duck from space.
There's duck tits in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, so it's confusing. There's 2 different moments where there's duck tits in the first 5 minutes of the movie. But,
like, back to back, pretty much.
So it's like, but then a lot of it seems like it's for kids. Like, it's a crazy, kind of just wacky 80s Goonies style adventure. So it's kind of it's like an internally displaced movie.
It's like a teenager movie.
Yeah.
It's a weird, like, in-between.
It is. It's middling of the road. But then it's PG, because PG-13 was only around for 2 years at this point. So, like, it's just...
PG with tits.
With tits, and there's a scene where Leah Thompson almost fucks a duck, guys.
Yeah.
Which we're going to talk about in graphic detail later. I've transcribed that entire scene.
And she said that she loved that scene, and so did everyone else.
Literally, I'm not even kidding. So I watched the movie. I went downstairs to talk to, like, my dad about it, and I was like, you know, Leah Thompson had a weird 2 years, because first she wants to
fuck her son, and then she wanted to fuck a duck.
Back to the Future. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And then I watched the fucking...
That's what she said.
I watched the documentary, and that's exactly what she said, and I was like, okay, Leah Thompson, you're great. I already knew I loved you, but that's incredible.
I had a crazy couple of years, because in Back to the Future I was supposed to be in love with my son, and then in Howard the Duck I was supposed to be in love with the duck. I was very confused.
She has a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
She seems like a really nice person. It would have been cool if we got to talk to her, but she's way too big for us.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, but it was released on the 1st of August 1986, distributed by Universal. It was their big picture for that whole year. Budget was $37 million. This cost more than Star Wars. Because
speaking of Star Wars, this is a George Lucas movie.
It's a George Lucas production. Yeah, which is pretty great. The reason it's great is because that means Industrial Light and Magic did all the effects. So the Howard the Duck puppet is incredible.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Everything in this movie looks so good. Like, there's a lot of lightning effects, but it's like, they're pretty top tier. There's one thing at the end that is horrible that we'll talk about.
Okay, the effects are pretty good, but also
they're so
the
wacky.
Green screen is kind of bad.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that, and I can't wait to get into all that stuff. But budget $37 million, box office not, and this is worldwide, $38 million. I think it made like $12 million domestically in the U.S.
Yeah,
so it made literally $1 million back of its budget. Yeah, Star Wars only cost $11 million. And Howard the Duck...
How did this cost 3 times more than Star Wars?
I have no clue. I guess there are werewolf masks in Star Wars, but like... Jesus, $11 million, $37 million. Oh my fucking god. But, Frank or Steve Gerber really liked it, so that's good. He was like, yeah, this is a great adaptation of my character. I've been reading a lot of Howard the Duck comics over the last couple of days. Like, I read some 70s stuff, and then literally, while you were coming over here, I was reading Howard the Duck Max. There's a Max Howard the Duck miniseries from 2002. It's only 7 issues, but I was reading some of that. And 70s Howard the Duck comics are fucking loose.
I was trying to kill myself.
The first single issue of Howard the Duck, the first 10 pages are him trying to kill himself. He climbs up a tower to kill himself because he has nothing else to do since he's stuck on Earth and he's away from home. He wants to fucking kill himself. And then he finds Beverly in the tower that he's about to jump off, and they get sucked into a time portal by some guy and go back to barbarian times. And Spider-Man shows up.
What?
Guys, everybody go back and read issue 1 of Howard the Duck from 1973 or 4. It's fucking great.
What the fuck?
It's so Howard the Duck comics are awesome. I have a Howard the Duck Funko over there just because Howard the Duck is like one of my favorite characters just because he's so wacky. He's
Does it
so
make any
weird in this
sense?
world. No, it doesn't, but it's great. But yeah, no, that whole Beverly being a glam rock star, that is 100% for the movie. She was not like that at all back then. And yeah, this wasn't released on DVD until 2009. So that is a solid, 15, maybe even more years until more like 20.
Yeah, it was like 20.
Yeah, years.
It was like 23
before this is on DVD. And then Blu-ray wasn't until 2016. So that's a 30 years waiting for Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And that's because, I mean...
Nobody liked it.
Well, nobody liked it, but then eventually people... I think a lot of it might have been ahead of its time because it's this really wacky thing. and then it grew a huge cult following, just like you would expect it to. Kind of like Last Action
Just like they
Hero.
expected it to happen.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They were literally saying that eventually people are going to find it again and they're going to love it.
Wasn't George Lucas who said, in 20 years, everyone's going to love this?
George, for years, said, just wait. 25 years from now, it will be rediscovered. And it will look really good for its time period.
And I mean, yeah, like a lot of people are still sour on it, obviously, but yeah, no, this has a huge fan base, and I think we're part of that fan base because it's great.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's stupid, but I love it.
So I don't like taking a lot of stuff from Wikipedia because, you know, they have a history of being inaccurate, but, you know, I try to get as much information as I can preparing for these episodes. But I just thought it was really funny in the Wikipedia subcategory. See, also, it leads to a link that just says, list of films considered the worst.
And this is on it?
Yeah. That's so funny. The Howard the Duck suit cost $2 million. And there's like a lot of duck suits in this movie.
Didn't they say that there was like 4 different ones?
Yeah, well, there's like a black duck suit later that you see towards the opening. And then there's a bunch of other ones. Because we're on Duck World for the first 5-ish minutes.
And he flips through a bunch of channels and those all have a lot of ducks on them.
And then you see outside a duck with like the shake weights or whatever. The original, outside the US, this was called Howard, a New Breed of Hero. That's interesting. I didn't even know about that.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. So, spoiler alert, guys, for Howard the Duck. Because
a 30-year-old movie.
A 33-year-old movie at this point. But so at the end, Jeffrey Jones, who is a horrible person, he's the main villain. He turns into the Dark Overlord. Apparently, I couldn't really find evidence of this going back through this scene, but I think it was in the IMDb trivia section. Apparently, the Dark Overlord is in Men in Black.
Where?
Like, he's like a little, because, you know, in Men in Black where it's like all the universes are marbles or whatever, I think there's like that shot where they pan out and then maybe he's in one of those or something.
Is Howard the Duck canon in the Men in Black universe?
Well, E.T. is canon in the Star Wars universe.
There's an entire cinematic universe that we gotta figure out.
It's all George Lucas.
Men in Black is not George Lucas.
I was gonna say, did ILM might have done the special effects, but that might have been... No, that was, what's his name? Baker. Special effects guy. Very famous. Rick Baker. Rick Baker did the... I don't know why I know that. Rick Baker did the Men in Black
You know
effects.
a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, but, so I guess that wasn't ILM, but, maybe it was, because, Rick Baker did a lot of Star Wars stuff, so... and then George Lucas, notoriously, if you've seen The Phantom Menace, which you have, you live on Earth, Lucas wanted Howard the Duck to be an all CGI character. The first leading all CGI character, I think.
That'd be really weird if it was like a history-setting movie that everyone hated.
Yeah,
like
well,
there's
probably a lot of those already. But, I mean, like, The Jazz Singer is the first movie with sound, and that whole movie, the main character is in blackface, so that's...
Okay, yeah, that's...
Yeah. But another random trivia fact for you film nerds out there. I have a lot more trivia that we will talk about later, so let's get into the movie. This is going to be a longer episode.
Yeah,
because
it's already been 15 minutes, and we haven't even started talking about the movie yet.
We both love this movie, and it's a real movie, so this episode's... I think from now on, most episodes are probably going to be a bit longer, so...
They're going to be like 2 hours or longer. Like...
strap in. I don't think, other than the first page of notes, I don't think there's a single page where I don't have something in all caps. That I've written in all caps, just like, because I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And you have so many pages of notes.
I have about 20 or 30. I think I have about 30 pages of notes, not including my special features
I have
notes.
like about as much as I usually do, which
okay,
is not
well,
a lot.
I can take us through it.
It's usually just me building off of what you say anyway. So
very start. I thought that. Have you seen Hop with Russell Brand, where he's the CGI bunny?
I forgot about that movie.
I
have.
Okay, well. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because I really expected, because, you know, the Universal logo, you see the top and then it pans out and you see the back. I thought it was going to be a giant egg. Because in Hop it is.
Yeah, that'd be funny, but...
It didn't happen. It's just a normal one.
I
think that was missed opportunity. And then this is great when it's like a shot, you think it's New York, and then it pans up, you see the two moons. The twin moons, exactly like the twin suns on Tatooine, you know, when Luke's looking up and it's like...
No.
Anyway, and then you pan up, and then it's not New York, it's Duck World. And
then the DuckTales theme starts.
And then Darkwing Duck shows up.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
And Donald Duck and Daffy Duck.
All right, wise guy. Where am I?
And it's fucking crazy. You know, you see shots of Duck World, but I'm pretty sure it's, obviously they had to shoot New York City. There's clearly just humans walking around on the ground.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you can just, there's just people. So that's pretty funny. And then you see a bunch of photos of, Howard in the 70s and 80s and whatever. And then this might be my favorite part of the entire movie, because this is really clever, I think, when you see all the different, because the very first shot, you go into Howard's apartment, you see all these pictures and posters and stuff. It really does a good job of setting up Duck World as just our world, but with ducks. It's really funny.
I mean, there's literally a picture of Howard smoking weed, so...
Yes, there's a picture of Howard
he's just on a weed farm.
He's in front of a weed farm, and he's got, the 70s...
Yeah.
Yeah. But first off, we get a parody of the Mae West W.C. Fields movie, My Little Chickadee, with the same title, because it's called My Little Chickadee. I mean, you can't really come up with anything better than that. But instead, it's Mae Nest and W.C. Fowls, which is... Fowls is a pun they're way too proud of. They use it 100 times.
Yeah, they use it so much.
He has you see a bunch of letters, and he has a love letter from someone named Michelle, who's never mentioned, and it says that she misses her bill pressed against, she wants Howard's bill pressed against her, which, that's something. Breeders of the Lost Stork, Indiana Drake, the new hero from the creators of Beaks, which is Jaws, and Fowl Wars. There it is, Fowl again. It's Star Wars, obviously, and then, yeah, the picture of Howard doing martial arts, because as we learn, he is the
master of quack fu.
We get, this is confusing, we get a picture of baby Howard, and he has a dog, so there's dogs.
Oh, shit.
There's dogs there.
Well, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, because in this world, it's pretty much just...
Instead of apes evolving, it's ducks.
Yeah. Do you think are humans and ducks swapped in this world?
Well, yeah.
Are humans like ducks?
I think humans are still gorillas.
Okay, that would make sense.
Or apes or whatever, yeah. Because later Tim Robbins explains to us the evolution. And yeah, hippie Howard's surrounded by pot. Oh, no, literally on the first page I do have something in all caps. It's the weed farm. We get Rolling Egg magazine instead of Rolling Stone. A duck lady calls Howard.
Hi, it's Wendy. I had this really intense dream last night, Howie. I was running my fingers through your feathers, and all of a sudden, well, you better come over tonight, and I'll show you what really happened next.
Like we were saying, this movie is not for kids.
Not at all. It should be very obvious.
Did you watch the trailers and the special features?
I didn't.
Okay, well...
It was already 2 a.m. by the time I got there, so...
Fair enough. But, anyway, literally in one of the trailers, it says Howard's favorite pastimes are...
cigars and sex.
Howard was in a band as a guitarist. It was called Howard and the Heartbreakers, so I guess Howard is Tom Petty. Instead of flash dance is splash dance, which is the classic posing on the chair flash dance pose, but with Howard the Duck, which I think Deadpool 2 also stole that imagery, because it has Deadpool with the bullets and
every movie does that,
because it's such an iconic image. Yeah. But splash dance is a pretty good pun. That's funny. And so Howard clicks through the TV. We get a dancing show. We get an ad for medication, a game show, medical drama.
Oh, Fred, I love you so much. It hurts. Like cancer
dead.
Society.
A commercial for it's one of those, we got crazy low prices, like the Rick and Morty bit.
Yeah, where they fucking smash
Ants
TVs.
in my eyes, Johnson.
So many ants in my eyes, and there's so many TVs, microwaves, radios. I'm not 100% sure what we have here in stock.
So Howard takes out a Play Duck magazine from a manila envelope. Somebody had to make that.
Yeah, which is sad.
Ed Gale on Special Features talks about how
they're just so detail-oriented, knowing the camera's only going to see a quick second of it, and they put puns on everything. What was the Playboy was Play Duck? Yeah, and I just that part was funny.
I'm pretty sure there's every single thing in that entire room was specifically made just for that scene.
Yeah,
Like, there's nothing that they just kind of, like, bought and, like, threw it in there. They had to make all of it.
That's really cool. I love that kind of creativity. And, like, I am so happy that there's, like, all these duck puns, because that's exactly what I expected from this movie. It's what I wanted.
But, like, okay, so, back to this magazine. Do you think they made an entire magazine? Because it was, like, the size of a normal one. They might have. So do you think it's, like, completely full?
Well, what if, like, he was flipping and you can see the other pages? Like, if it's a PG movie, I mean, they probably didn't care, but I don't think you could put, like, real tits.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, Forrest Gump has real tits in it, but that's different, I guess. And there are duck titties. He has, like, it has a fold out. What's it? Yeah. Centerfold, and he folds it out, and it's got tits.
There's pretty much furry porn in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't think that was as much of a thing back then, so I'm not like, ew, that's creepy. Yeah. It's more just like, all right, it's kind of funny. It's pretty funny.
At the time, it's pretty much just like, yeah, it's a funny joke.
Yeah, it's pretty good. In hindsight, maybe that sparked somebody's fetish, which, good for them, I guess. Like what you like. But, so there's an earthquake. Howard the Duck, his chair starts shaking, and it goes through a bunch of buildings, and this is probably not the most infamous, but this is definitely a very famous moment where he crashes through someone's bathroom, and there's a duck, tits fully exposed for a solid 5-10 seconds, and I think she's touching herself in the bath.
I think so.
So, and she's singing.
I'm such a lucky girl in love.
And so anyway, it flies past all the ducks.
That's just kind of a thing that happens, like, and it's
nobody ever addresses it.
Yeah,
again.
It just kind of happens.
Do you think they had a duck puppet with boobs, or do you think that they just put boobs on a normal duck puppet?
I think they specifically made it for that.
Oh man, that means there's even less duck suits you can use. Howard the Duck's chair flies past all the ducks, and then it's flying into the sky.
And then he flies into the sun, and he dies. Well, the end.
That's how it ends. Like, has there ever been a movie where somebody flies into the sky and dies? That doesn't happen in one of the Austin Powers movies, does it?
I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, it probably happened at some point.
Yeah, but yeah, so even in, I don't know if we mentioned, or maybe I cut it out if we did, but in Death Too Soon, literally the last movie we watched, it opens with that black guy in the boombox. In fucking Howard the Duck world,
there's another one.
There's a black duck. It's the only black duck, and he has a boombox. That's ridiculous. What the fuck? And there's like a shake weight duck or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just walking by with his little weights. That's funny. And then his chair catches on fire, but so it falls, and then Howard's still flying, and Howard flies off planet and through space, and then there's this narration, which I wrote all of it down, but I'm just gonna put in the clip.
The cosmos. Countless worlds upon worlds. Worlds without end. In these galaxies, every possible reality exists. And what is reality on any one world is mere fantasy on all others. Here, all is real and all is illusion. What is, what was, and what will be start here with the words, in the beginning there was Howard the Duck.
And then we get the title card, and I'm so in.
Yeah.
I'm locked. I can't wait.
It's like the best way the movie could have started.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
If you like how the movie starts, then you already know that you're gonna like the rest of the movie, because that's
exactly what it is.
You pretty much just got what the next like 2 hours is gonna be.
Yeah, with more like punks and Tim Robbins really fucking hamming it up. So, which is always kind of fun. And then during that, Howard flies back past a bunch of planets and space stuff. And where does every movie portal ever lead, Franny? Where does the Smurfs portal lead? Where's the Masters of the Universe portal lead? Where does any single portal lead out of all the planets in the universe?
Into an alley.
Yeah, and just into some alley in Cleveland. Or usually New York. But this time, it leads to an alley
Cleveland, Ohio.
on Earth. But yeah, no. There's so many fucking planets for some reason, it's always on Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But that's what happened.
Because Earth is the only planet that exists.
And it costs... It cost less than using a planet where you gotta have it full of aliens. He crashes through a sign, and he hits some stuff on the way down, and he lands on a sofa in the alley, just like the sofa where he was a second ago. Pretty good. And he gets cornered by an 80s punk gang. Fuck yes. There's a lot of cool punks in this movie. I like that a lot. They're not really surprised that there's a duck, which is a theme that'll be repeated throughout the movie.
I feel like the only people that aren't surprised to be seeing a toddler-sized duck.
Well, I think later in the movie, people kind of like there's sometimes like an old lady will be like but eventually people seem to kind of adapt to being a duck, which is odd. And I'm not just talking about Beverly and Phil. I'm talking about like just pedestrians.
Yeah, just random people walking by just get used to seeing like a 3-foot tall talking duck.
Yeah, they're not surprised. And they sneak him into the concert by giving him to some nerd and saying it's his date.
Go on in, Frankenweenie! We finally found you a date!
That was funny when the security, he thinks he's like a kid in a Halloween costume.
He's like, no kids allowed.
So he takes the duck off of the nerd, and the nerd in the background's like, that's my date!
That costume don't fool me! No kids allowed!
Hey, wait a minute! That's my date!
Yeah, so he throws Howard onto a homeless person's shopping cart.
Even though, again, he thought it was a child, so he just threw a kid.
And that's fucking metal. And then the shopping cart almost gets hit, I think he falls out and he almost gets hit by a bus. And then we see Leah Thompson, who plays Beverly Switzer, who's the lead singer of a band called Cherry Bomb.
It's like the most 80s band you can think of.
Yeah, well, it's glam rock. There's 4 girls. They all got huge hair. This movie has a really good soundtrack.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of original songs, and they're all really good. And Leah Thompson talks about the really strenuous process because they were threatening that because she wasn't a singer or anything,
but she wanted to do all the singing.
She really wanted to do it.
They kept threatening me that they might not let me really do the singing. Even halfway through the shooting, I don't think they were entirely convinced whether they were going to keep my voice, and they did.
And so they were teaching her how to play guitar and then how to sing. She's getting vocal training. She talks about how she never wasn't working because she was always either doing the movie or she was doing
the choreography
for music or dancing or whatever, and she was a ballet dancer, I think, so the dancing wasn't that hard for her. She has a really nice voice in this, I think.
Good on her for being dedicated.
She's committed. She's really committed to this, which is really impressive. Kind of a more awkward sexual humor when there's this couple making out and Allie and Howard starts feeling up the leg of the chick. That's kind of weird. But then they find out and the guy freaks out and tries to kill him with a "for rent" sign.
By not even really swinging at him, he just fucking breaks it against a wall.
Yeah, against the wall of the alley. He's just like, ah! And I had to pause it to see what it was because I don't know where he got it. On the ground.
I couldn't tell where he got it either. He just kind of had it.
Ridiculous. And then there's this lady-led motorcycle gang called Satan Sluts, and they chase after Howard. And then Howard falls onto one of their bikes, and she punches him in the head, and he lands in a trash can. This is great. And then he
dies.
Yeah, he's died.
Here's where the movie ends.
He gets his block knocked off, like in Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
But no, he's in a trash can. I thought he passed out, but then he's just hanging out. And then it's after the concert. Beverly's walking back. These weird guys try to rape her. One of them has a leather jacket with baby heads all over it because that's what I think that's probably what George Lucas thinks a punk is.
Probably.
He watched The Road Warrior and was like, yeah, just do that. They're trying to rape Beverly. It's pretty intense. We're not even 10 minutes in, and we've had tits and feeling people up and rape. This is
also
really sexually intense.
Also, this movie is 2 hours long. We're 10 minutes in, and we've been talking for half an hour.
Yeah, this is gonna be such a long one.
Yeah.
But also, I think we have so much to say, I won't have to edit out as much.
Yeah, probably.
So that's gonna be good too. And oh my God! So they're gonna beat him up, and Howard hears it, and he says,
"No more Mr. Nice Duck."
The duck puns have started, which obviously you got a lot in this verbal duck puns have started. Okay. And they never stop for the rest of the movie from every single cast member, which, I mean, good on them. But they start freaking out when Howard shows up, and one of them says,
"I've been doing too much toot."
I guess that means coke. So Howard the Duck says,
"No one laughs at a master of quack foo."
And we get a really bad wire stunt. And he kicks them, he's stomping them, he's beating them up.
Yeah, pretty much these two guys get their asses beat by a toddler.
Yeah, well, not a toddler, it's Ed Gale in a duck suit. It beat by a master of quack foo. He gets a trash can lid, I think, and throws it at him, and then he gets a leg of a chair. Yeah. This alley has such a weird assortment of weapons.
All of these alleys do.
It's like Streets of Rage or something.
You just fucking punch a trash can and there's a baseball bat in there.
That's what happened. And Howard calls him
Mr. Zitz,
which makes me wonder if ducks get zits, if he knows what those are.
Yeah,
maybe I'll do some research. Do ducks have acne? Maybe. They're pretty oily, I guess.
But that just sounds
weird to
gross.
think about. Also, he doesn't have any zits at all. He's a very clean-faced man. They run away, and there's like a flashbang. Do you remember that?
I don't.
They run away, and there's like a bolt of lightning or something. Like, there's no sound. It's just like a light.
As they're running away, they throw a smoke bomb.
Yeah, maybe.
They throw a flashbang and they run.
It's so weird. Maybe another duck landed on Earth or something. I don't know what the fuck happened. But then it starts raining. And no, it was not lightning because it starts raining after. That's not how lightning works. But then it starts raining. And Beverly is confused about Howard, but she's like, oh, I mean, thanks, I guess. Yeah, I guess he helped. And Beverly was beating them up, too. She's a strong female character, you know, 9 to 5, gotta work that joke into every single episode. And here's the clip, you know, I always do it.
Working 9 to 5.
You're gonna figure out how to work that into every single one.
Movie, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like, can you tell me where the fuck I am? Because I'm a duck from outer space. And she's like, you're in Cleveland. And he's like, Cleveland? And everybody laughs.
Yeah, because he mispronounced it.
He's like, oh, that's a crazy name for this. And he's like,
Cleveland? Uh-huh. That's a perfect weird name for this planet.
He's like, no, what planet am I on? And she's like, you're on Earth. Is this a nightmare? Am I having a weird duck-related dream? And she starts walking away into the rain. And there's this really cheesy 80s song that kicks in. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Don't know why you're not talking to me. I don't know what went wrong.
And Howard's all sad and he's scared. And he doesn't have an umbrella and he's getting all wet. And even though he's got webbed feet and he probably should thrive in the water even though he can't swim.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't know how to swim.
Yeah.
Better tell you now, watch I can't swim!
But, you know, he's all sad and scared because he's in a new place. And so Beverly's like, all right, come with me under my tiny umbrella, my tiny red umbrella. And they walk together, and it's pretty funny. And so Howard gets wet, and then he starts making Donald Duck noises.
It's weird.
Which is a theme throughout this movie. And I mean, Disney didn't know Marvel for another 20 years. Nope. So that's weird. So they get to Beverly's really shitty apartment. There's
so much
really
neon.
Bad and gross. No, I think her room's pretty sick, but like when they first get there,
oh yeah,
it's like a fucking dump. But then she has a pretty cool room. It's like a loft. It's nice. But yeah, a lot of neon, you're right. Neon and guitars and probably just cigarettes everywhere. It probably smells really bad, but, you know, it looks cool. Their band, Cherry Bomb, has a really shit house manager, and he's, like, not giving them their money or whatever. And they're waiting for their big break, because they just play in dive bars. And, you know, 9 to 5. A working girl trying to make my way in the workplace.
Working 9 to 5.
So, of course, Beverly just happens to have a duck purse, which is a purse in the shape of a duck, because, you know.
Why not?
Howard can see it and be confused by it.
What's this?
Oh, it's a purse. I got it at a swap meet.
Cute.
Howard feels the quake and he gets like a weird PTSD flashback about when he was flying off Duck World. It's kind of horrifying.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
And then it turns out it was just a truck.
There's just a truck. But that's not how trucks work.
Yeah.
When a truck goes by, I'm not like, ugh! It's not how it happens.
Jesus, look at the fucking audio spike.
Yeah, you know. I gotta tell people what it's like when a truck goes by. That's what they come here for. I guess Howard went to med school to become a plastic surgeon.
And then he dropped out.
Wrote songs at night and did construction work by day.
Yeah, he dropped out so he could so he could be a songwriter by night and a construction worker by day. And,
what a life.
Yeah, I know. And Howard got a job request to be an advertiser, so he does this cheesy like perfume ad.
Only two things touch my feathers: oil of nightfall and him.
They're like, oh, Howard is you're here because you have a destiny, which that doesn't end up being true. He's here because of a weird science thing, but he doesn't know how he's gonna get home, so he just falls asleep and Beverly wraps him in a quilt. And this is another iconic moment where she goes through his wallet and she's got a license plate and
a license,
driver's license,
not a fucking license plate in his wallet.
Like Jaws when the shark has a license plate in its mouth. Yeah, but he's got a driver's license in his wallet, and it's like, oh, expires on hatch day. Like, again, very detail oriented, and that apparently he's from Marshington, D.C. and he has a Mallard card instead of a MasterCard. He's got a picture of him with some duck beach babes, and he's got duck parents, and then he's got the $1 bill that has a duck George Washington on it.
You know, these fucking puns are killing me. Like, I can't do this.
There's so much at once. And then he has a loose condom in his wallet.
Why not?
And she goes, Howard.
Howard.
But that's not how condoms work. You can keep a loose condom in your wallet. That's horrible. You can't use that now. That's a horrible idea. And it's a pretty nice shot of Beverly just watching Howard sleep in front of the rainy windowsill. He's wrapped up in a little quilt. It's the next day. Yeah. And they're going to the natural... It's like 3 things. It's like the science, history, and it's an aquarium.
Yeah, it's a museum.
It's a museum
with scientists in it. Yeah, why not?
That's all you need to know. And Beverly is the fucking worst at hiding things.
She puts him in a ripped up trash bag.
Yeah, and they're in the back of a cab going to the museum, and they're just like openly talking, and the cab driver's like, "What the fuck?"
What about me? I'm gonna have to see a psychiatrist every day for the rest of my life.
Relax, we're almost there.
Oh, goody.
Bill's a scientist. He can help.
Which at that point, don't hide him in a trash bag if you're just gonna talk to him, I guess.
Or why is the taxi driver still driving them when there's...
I would call the police.
I would too.
If a lady had like a kid in a trash bag in the back of my cab.
As far as you know, there's a child in a trash bag, and she's like verbally abusing it.
Yeah, I don't think that's proper parenting. But yeah, literally everybody at the whole museum is so confused because he's just walking around to the trash. He just has like a walking trash bag.
And there's like 3 different people that are like, "Hey, you need some help with that?" Like...
Yeah, what the fuck? Because it's like, what the fuck is happening? Is there a child in a trash bag? When she takes Howard to her scientist friend Phil, who is played by Tim Robbins in his first role. Tim Robbins of The Shawshank Redemption.
If you're reading this, you've gotten out. And if you've come this far, maybe you're willing to come a little further.
Can you burn a hole through this with some kind of eye laser?
Andy Dufresne plays this really hammy, over-the-top nerd scientist.
I mean, look, you gotta start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere.
And I mean, I don't think this is too bad of a place to start.
No, at first he was really... I liked Tim Robbins a lot and stuff, but he was really getting on my nerves at first.
He's really annoying in the beginning, but he gets better.
Yeah, he gets better. And yeah. He just immediately walks into a board meeting and is like, oh, guess what? It's in the other room. It's nothing. It's really not funny. It's so annoying.
And it takes like a minute.
Yeah,
it's like an entire minute of a really
there's so
unfunny
many
joke.
pauses for laughter, and there's no laughter, and that's the worst kind of joke.
It's just as bad as a sitcom.
Yeah, it's like you're waiting for the laugh track to kick in,
but there isn't.
I'll play the clip with the laugh track. Maybe it'll sound better.
God, listen, everybody, this is it. I've just seen it. It's in there. It's nothing! It's nothing! Never mind! Carry on, Dr. Chapin.
He's just really chewing up the fucking all the scenery, and there's a lot of weird DC Comics references.
There are?
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a duck.
It's a bird! It's a plane! No! It's a duck.
And it's like, oh my god. This is just like in the first Spider-Man when Aunt May goes,
"You're not Superman, you know."
This is a weird thing to think about. Because that means that in the Marvel Universe, DC is still just fake.
Yeah, I mean, but then sometimes there's crossovers.
Yeah, so what?
Like, it's pretty well known that DC Comics are comics in the Marvel Universe. Like, Iron Man I remember the first time I ever learned that, it was in an issue of A+X, which is something no one's ever read in their entire lives. But that's Avengers plus X-Men. Not versus, it's just this like little team-ups they would do. And I think it's the issue with Tony Stark and Kitty Pryde. Or maybe it's Hellcat. I don't remember. The point is, he references Superman and or like how, it's like giving kryptonite to Superman or whatever. And that blew my fucking mind. And I never stopped thinking about that. And then Spider-Man talks about reading like Batman comics and Teen Titans stuff sometimes. So, but it's weird to think about because then sometimes the universes will collide.
Yeah, so like, are they with... In the DC universe, does Marvel even exist?
Well, you know what it's like, actually? It's like, have you ever seen... You probably haven't seen this. You ever seen the episode of Power Rangers where they meet the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I've heard of it, never seen it.
In that, I'm pretty sure they've both exist in their separate universes. In Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a TV show, and in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers is a TV show. But for the episode, they meet each other, and the whole time they're just like, oh, I thought you guys were only on TV. I thought you guys were fake.
So the Mutant Ninja Turtles are for real?
Yeah. Hey, we couldn't believe they were really Power Rangers either. Pretty trippy.
But what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just... This is a weird, like, really off-topic conversation.
There's gonna be a lot. I think as the show goes on, we're gonna have more and more weird tangents.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which, nothing wrong with that. Let's just talk about more stuff.
I think it's just what happens when the movie is better.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, so this is probably racist, where he talks to the duck like a foreigner.
Oh yeah.
Nice ducky. Me, Phil. You, Howard. We be friends.
And yeah, he does a perfect Donald Duck impression.
Yeah,
Phil just does like a
good job.
Flawless impression. But like, no, that's weird. Why can he do that? That's so... And then Phil wonders if Howard has superpowers, and this is another really annoying moment.
Can you bend this? I want you to concentrate and read my mind. I want you to look into the future and tell me what you see.
Howard is just as annoyed as the entire audience.
Yeah, he keeps talking about... Howard calls him a yo-yo.
They know I'm a yo-yo.
Which he says that...
He says that
again
so many
later.
times.
Yeah, but Phil is like certifiably fucking insane in this scene. He's trying to get Howard to bend a steel bar, use laser eyes, read his mind, and look into the future. Which yeah, I guess I would too.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense when it's an alien, but like, come on.
And now when they're leaving... They just don't attempt to hide Howard.
No.
They just have given up on the trash bag idea. They're just walking around.
But I mean, the museum is completely empty for some reason.
Yeah,
so I guess it's fine.
I think they're probably just in a closed off section because they're near like.
I think they are because as they were
like
walking.
Maintenance guys.
Yeah, there was a sign that said that it was like off limits or whatever. So
yeah,
I guess
but I mean,
it makes sense. But
still, you're gonna have to go outside eventually, and they do.
Yeah,
and
they don't hide him.
But yeah, so everybody can see him, and Phil keeps talking about how they're gonna get him back. But they talk about, this is kind of cool, where they're like, oh, you know what it probably is, Howard? It's probably like, how it started with apes and whatever, and then that evolved into humans. It's probably on Duck World. It started with ducks as we know them, and that evolved into like a humanoid duck. So that's kind of cool explanation. There's even like a weird effect where it's like the evolution of man, and then he goes
it changes to like ducks.
The evolution of duck.
I think that was really cool, and apparently it was true.
Because
Howard confirms that's exactly what it was.
He's like, they teach us that in school.
Yeah.
Every school duck knows this stuff.
All right, that's weird that Phil was able to get that on like the first try.
But I mean, it makes sense. Like,
well, I don't know if scientists would tell us it makes sense, but for the sake of a movie about duck from space,
movie, it makes sense.
Yeah, but so these fellow scientists show up, and now they're trying to hide Howard, but Howard just walks outside, and everybody sees him, and like Beverly and Howard are arguing, and then a bunch of kids show up, and they think he's like an animatronic or like an exhibit or something, and so they're like touching his fur and stuff.
It's so lifelike and realistic.
And then he shoos them off, and then tells Beverly to leave. He's being such an asshole to this lady who's like being really nice to him and like giving him a place to stay. And
you two, leave me alone.
What?
I don't need any more of your sympathy, your charity.
He has no reason to do this, but I'd be pretty pissed if I was on a foreign planet too,
yeah.
But still, I think he's being a little much. And there's like one little moment when she sounds like Miss Piggy.
And so long, Ducky.
So, oh Jesus.
Oh God.
This is a weird moment too. Howard the Duck goes to find a job, and there's this big black lady. It says that his face is like... He says that...
She says that his face is fucked up.
Yeah. She's like, oh, your face is like that, so you don't have to have a job. She's like, oh, you're a slacker.
You think that by looking controversial, you're never gonna find a job.
Doesn't make very much sense, honestly.
And so Howard tries to bite her ass when it's in his face.
I mean...
She's leaning over to grab something.
Fucking you do you, I guess, but maybe
That's
don't.
That's weird. I don't get it. Like, I think it's a joke, but I don't get the joke.
Neither do I.
And so, oh my God, Howard is a fucking towel boy for a bathhouse. which, if you don't know what a bathhouse is, guys,
it's a sex jacuzzi.
It's a
steamy sex place.
Sex jacuzzis. Yeah, basically a bunch of jacuzzis where you go to fuck. And so, I would say
it's steamy hookers.
Yeah, it is steamy hookers, but it's so odd. It's such an odd choice.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's kind of uncomfortable.
And there is so much fucking sex for a kids movie. There's like
maybe because this isn't a kids movie.
Well, yeah, maybe it's not, but like, do you think that no parents took their kids to go see Howard the Duck?
Oh no, there's definitely.
I mean, there's parents who took their kids to see Deadpool, but that's their fault.
Yeah,
but with Howard the Duck, it's different.
I think that's probably why, like, part of the reason why so many people hated it.
Because a lot of people probably walked out and were scarred by it, or parents were pissed at the...
Yeah, probably parents being pissed and children being scarred by seeing... by the first pair of tits they ever see is on a duck.
Yeah, that probably caused a lot of problems for people. Jesus, yeah, that's a good point. Again, like, we can't show this because this is a podcast, but... before Howard even comes into frame, there's like 10 seconds of this couple just going at it, wearing
there's
nothing.
There's like 3 different couples that are just straight up good, just going at it, there's one, aggressively.
And then there's, and like graphic, and they're not wearing much. Like, they're not fully naked, but they're
cutting it close.
Super intimate, and like really, it's like softcore porn levels.
Yeah, it's...
And I mean, it's like in anything else... we probably wouldn't even address it, but when it's a movie about a talking duck and it's supposed to be it's supposedly aimed for children, like, it's that you gotta bring it up.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And this scene goes on for a while. And,
this is like a full 5-minute scene.
And
so
Howard
like
the Duck, and there's like, and this goes on the entire
the
scene.
entire time it's just he's walking by so many people.
And Howard the Duck's like,
must be mating season.
Oh, must be mating season, which, good joke, I guess, but... So Howard,
not the time.
Howard starts to light up, but his boss is this weird old guy, and so he lifts him up and he dunks him in a jacuzzi while a couple is having sex in the jacuzzi, even though he can't swim, and he tells him he can't swim.
I can't swim!
And he dunks him in a jacuzzi. He's about to drown a coworker in a sex jacuzzi. And the couple
I guess that's one way to go. The
couple doesn't even react.
Oh, yeah, they don't even notice that there's a fucking duck in there.
They're probably on horse tranquilizers, but they are not reacting to the fucking duck that just got dunked in there. What the hell? And then his boss is, like, inspecting this loose bra that's in, like, a mud pit. Because it's not just jacuzzis, there's, like, a mud room where you go and fuck in the mud. That does not sound fun.
It doesn't at all. But at the same time, fucking in a jacuzzi doesn't sound that great either.
Guys, girls, real talk, you're gonna get waterlogged up your vagina and you're gonna die. So and then so he's inspecting this loose bra, and Howard pushes him into the fucking mud pit. He slides.
He slides on...
nothing. Or water, I guess. Water.
Yeah.
Semen. He slides on semen and pushes him into the mud pit and then quits his job. And that was the scene.
Yeah, pretty much. Just everything in that scene was weird.
So Howard walks the streets in his weird plaid Sherlock Holmes suit, and he's all depressed. And so he gets on a bus, and everyone on the bus is terrified of him. And this is one of my favorite moments where this guy is like pointing at him once he got off the bus and just says,
"That's a duck! That's a duck, man!
That's a duck!
That's a duck, man!"
It's my favorite part.
Just like, what? Why? Who gave you that line?
Nobody. He wasn't supposed to be on set.
I want to think that it's just like that was either improvised or that guy didn't know where he was.
That was his legitimate reaction. They put him on a real bus. And so Howard hears on the news that it's duck hunting season. He sees a Daffy Duck cartoon, and then he sees somebody advertising like
a recipe for cooking a duck.
Yeah, what is it? It's duckaroni.
The duck has come to America with duckaroni.
Which it's probably a real thing. I don't know. But
sounds gross though.
Yeah, it does sound gross. And I don't know why all 3 of those are on at the same time. But, plot reasons, I guess. So Howard has a panic attack and winds up in front of the Cherry Bomb concert, like right where he started on the same sofa. He sees the hole that he fell through and everything. And so he hears Bev playing this really fucking awesome song. It's my favorite song in the whole movie. It's called Don't Turn Away. I thought it sounded really familiar. I thought it was, it kind of sounds like Time After Time.
Two people who have so much together really ought to get along. Yeah, it's a memory
so I kind of thought it was one of her songs, so I'll probably play a lot of that song in here because I just think that's a great song.
Just play the entire song.
It's like a 6-minute song, yeah. But I'll play a little bit of it because it's great.
What are we trying to prove? When this world's too big to take off your shoulders, feels like love is in vain. You could break down in my arms, babe, but it really hurts when you turn away.
She's like, oh, it's too depressing, so they start playing something more upbeat. And then so there's these creepy guys and Bev's manager, who's named Ginger, I think, because he's a ginger, I guess. And they start talking, and the manager's like, yeah, I'm just gonna... Bev's been holding out on me. I'm gonna make her fuck me. I'm still not gonna pay her.
When Bodacious Beverly stops holding out on me, I'm gonna invite her up to my place tonight for a little career manipulation.
Which is really sleazy. And so Howard's hearing that, because Howard's in the club. And, so he confronts them. He's like, I don't like the way you're talking about her. And
you're a bitch.
You're a little bitch. Give me Bev's money. There's a pretty good line where one of his guys is just like,
Hey, different lifestyles is one thing. Different life forms is another.
So Howard lights a match with his beak. I wrote his mouth. That's wrong. But he lights a match with his beak.
Lights his mouth?
Yeah, he lights his mouth. But he lights a match with his beak and does smoking a cigar. This Amish, he's not really Amish, but he looks Amish. This security guy, he like slides Howard across the bar like a scotch or whatever. And everyone at the concert starts crowding and cheering around Howard. And so Howard smashes a fucking 40 on somebody's head. And the manager's like gonna stab Howard in the face and yells, "Duck kebab!" Duck kebab! Which, there's like a Stephen King movie. It's the one about cats. It's called Sleepwalkers or something. And there's a bit when this cat man stabs a cop and says, "Cop kebab!"
Cop kebab!
And so then Howard gets on top of him and has the fucking ice pick or whatever it is. And you think Howard stabs him in the face? I really thought he stabbed him in the face.
That would have been an interesting.
This movie's already brutal.
Yeah.
But no, he stabs him like through he has like a ring earring. He stabs him
giant earring.
Yeah, so it's still pretty fun. It's a good gag, I guess. And so Howard threatens to stab him in the other ear, which doesn't have an earring in it. So, if he doesn't give him Beverly's money. And so he does give him Beverly's money, and also makes him force the girls out of their contract. So, good.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess now they don't have a manager, so that's not very good, but I guess he didn't really plan that one.
It fixes itself later.
Yeah, he's got it. Don't worry, he'll play a guitar later. You want to see him play a little guitar? It'll happen. So Howard says that he's going to give him space rabies.
Space rabies.
Yeah, and the Amish guy says that he heard about it on the news.
Richie, is that a real disease?
I don't know, Ginge. I heard something about that on the news.
And so, yeah, he gets the money, everything's good. And so Howard goes backstage and he meets Bev in the band, and he apologizes to her. And then Tim Robbins shows up in like a Christmas-colored flannel suit. It's gross. He's dating some member of the band. I think her name's Ronette. It's not important, but I don't know why I remember that.
Well, he and Ronette have sort of got back together.
There's a Captain America reference where he's brainstorming about how Howard got here and says that he was frozen in ice.
You arrived here in a spacecraft millions of years ago and must have remained frozen in ice.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's cool.
I did catch that. I didn't put it together.
Yeah, so Phil tells Howard that, he's telling him all these theories and says that tonight I'm going to have concrete evidence. For some reason, when he's walking away, he's like, oh, I got to talk to my friends about where you came from, Howard. He's just being a spaz, and he walks away. And there's this weird moment when Phil's girlfriend's like, Phil, and he's just like, no sex now, I'm working.
Phil?
No sex now, I'm working.
And he's like, Tim Robbins, don't flatter yourself. She is not after you. Howard gets the band to love him when he tells them about what he did to the manager. And so Phil plucks out one of his feathers in a really bad bit of comedy.
What feather? What are you talking?
If it matches, it'll be the answer to all your problems.
No, you don't.
Gets better once they build an airplane, I promise. but
it gets better once there's a monster.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Back at Beverly's. Oh my God, guys, are you ready for this?
Oh God,
this is probably the most famous scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back at Beverly's, Howard just starts dancing. He's making music with a Casio keyboard.
Yeah.
And Leah Thompson looks pretty good in this scene. She's wearing nothing but some lingerie. And it's that scene. So Beverly suggests that Howard can be their manager. And he says that she's hot and howls at her ass like Billy Madison.
Oh, so hot. Want to touch the hiney.
I don't get that. Like, I know people do it, but I don't know what it means.
Neither do I, honestly.
Like, you always see that.
Does it mean anything, or is it just a thing that people do?
Yeah, but, like, where did it start? It didn't start with Howard the Duck.
It definitely didn't.
It's like I don't know. I just don't get... I've never gotten
I think it's
that.
just a movie thing. I don't think any real people do that.
I just want to know where it started. Anyway.
I don't know, you could probably find it
Yeah,
online or
I'll look it up later, maybe. But... yeah, so she's like, oh, Howard, you're the worst. And then he nods in agreement. He's like, I am the worst. List of movies that are the worst. But, yeah, so she's like, oh, come on, let's watch David Letterman. And they get in the bed together. And I have transcribed this entire scene. And I guess there's two options here. Either I read the entire scene, or I just play the entire scene.
Both.
Oh my god.
Or you read out the entire thing and then
I play it in full.
Oh, no, you play the audio, but only for Beverly, and you read all of Howard's lines.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's gonna be really weird. Okay, Dad, I know you listen to my podcast, so skip ahead 2 to 3 minutes. Okay?
Don't be disappointed in your son after this.
Yeah, be disappointed
if
in
you
me for
weren't
different
already.
reasons. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I guess I'll take the stage as Howard the Duck.
Oh God, I don't even know if I want to hear this.
It's gonna be one of my finest moments. You ready, everybody? Okay.
Your career's over before it even started.
Before it even started. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna put all of this stuff on my resume, all these episodes and interviews, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh,
this is how you got your break into voice
we
acting."
Heard you. I get to be Howard the Duck on the show. Anyway, all right, here we go. This is your idea. This is your fault.
Yeah, this is my own fault. I did it to myself.
I gotta play Beverly. Or no, Beverly plays herself, and then, so, she says the thing.
Just can't seem to find the right man.
Maybe it's not a man you should be looking for.
You think I might find happiness in the animal kingdom, Ducky?
Like they say, doll, love's strange. We could always give it a try.
Okay. Let's go for it, Mr. Macho.
Oh shit, I have to read the actions that are happening like a Shakespeare play. This is a lot like Shakespeare in a lot of ways. So, Bev takes off her bathrobe, revealing her bra and panties. I feel like I'm reading 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, you know what? This isn't Shakespeare. This is fucking fan fiction.
Yeah.
It's weird, furry fan fiction, and I don't want to be part of it.
Well, this is your fault.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean, okay? It was a joke. Look, I'm pretty tired. So he's about to get raped.
JonTron rape whistle.
Right!
It's just that you're so incredibly soft and cuddly.
Bev, let's be realistic. I mean, my apartment's a zillion miles from here. Bev runs her hand down his body and puts it under his shirt. You're 3 feet taller than I am. Sex noise.
I just can't resist your intense animal magnetism.
Howard's head feathers stand up, indicating erection.
And I'd just like to point out that apparently that took
a long time. Where will it lead? Marriage? Kids? A house in the suburbs?
Let's just face it. It's fate.
Bev goes to take off her bra. Howard stops her. No, it's not. Howard pulls the covers up over him. I've got a headache.
And I got the asthma.
Howard hides in the covers. Be gentle. Bev pulls off the cover.
Just one good night kiss, sweet ducky.
Okay. Okay, so we did that.
You just gave yourself so much more editing to do.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry, Grandma, if you're listening to
I'm sorry to literally every single person that had to listen to that.
I'm not. Oh, man, that's as close to being with Leah Thompson as I'm ever gonna get.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So, Beverly says that she was just kidding, which I don't think she was kidding, but,
she straight up just tried to fuck a duck.
Yeah, she did. She wanted that. And then, so she turns out the light and kisses him in silhouette. Phil and Jeffrey Jones from Ferris Bueller, who, you can look him up on your own, guys. But,
and we've already made it very obvious that we do not like him.
No, and
for very bad reasons.
Graphic reasons. Oh, man.
If you don't know, you should look it up for yourself if you're curious.
it's rough. It's a rough read. So not for the sensitive maybe, but also maybe me having a sex scene with Leah Thompson wasn't for the sensitive.
I think you can handle whatever Jeffrey Jones did if you can handle Gabe reading furry fan fiction to you for about 2 minutes.
I mean, I guess that wasn't real though. Anyway, yeah, so they show up, and Jeffrey Jones, famous for being the principal from Ferris Bueller, and he's in something else.
He's in Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah, he is. That's right. That's the other thing. And so he shows up shocked at the fact that lady was totally going to fuck that duck.
And kissed a duck.
Well, she did kiss the duck.
On the bill.
I thought that she was going to go down on him because, he puts his hands behind his head.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Maybe she would have if it didn't get interrupted.
Probably.
It's a weird movie. His underwear can't come off.
Yeah, it can.
Wait.
He's wearing clothes.
No, but later when they try to take his underwear off, it can't come off.
No, what?
Yeah, remember when the cops tried to take his underwear off and stuff?
They didn't.
It's Velcroed. They say it's Velcroed.
What?
Remember?
No.
What? Yeah.
They think that he's wearing a costume. They said there's no Velcro on him.
Not my shorts! Find the You pervert!
Lieutenant, there's no zipper.
There's no buttons, no Velcro, sir.
Oh, I read that scene wrong.
Oh my fucking god.
I thought they were trying to take his underwear off.
What the fuck? Why?
I don't know.
Why would he have...
It's a weird, depraved movie. I don't know.
What?
Would you be surprised if they tried to take his underwear off?
Yes!
I thought we were going to get duck dick in this movie.
Nope, only Leah Thompson.
Almost. Leah Thompson almost got some duck dick. Is that what you're saying? Jesus. I thought Doctor Strange was the sexual episode.
Yeah,
guys.
Jesus.
I'm really sorry. This is getting a hard, explicit tag.
I think this is the only really, really sexual Marvel movie. After this, I don't think there's anything close to it.
I'm scanning.
Maybe Deadpool.
There's a sex montage with a strap on in Deadpool.
Yeah. Okay. Other than Deadpool, I don't think there's anything else that's
and somehow Howard the Duck is more sexual than Deadpool.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
It's more weirdly sexual.
Watching Ryan Reynolds get fucking
pegged with a strap on.
I think that's a little worse than Leah Thompson almost going down on a duck.
Hey, Dad. I would just skip the rest of this episode. I'm so sorry.
You know what? Just stop listening.
Yeah,
Don't watch any of the episodes after this.
Next week is the week to listen. You know what? Just put it on mute. Play the rest of the episode so we get those sweet, sweet listens, and come back next week. Oh Jesus, Jesus! We're gonna get in some trouble for this one.
We're barely halfway through the movie.
Yeah. We're the best. So Jeffrey Jones plays a character named Dr. Walter Jennings, and they come with this other guy, Carter, and something happens with the feather they plucked from Howard earlier, and he gets all mad about it. I think they should have explained what happened first, but whatever. Dr. Jennings says that he can explain how Howard got here. They're doing an experiment the night Howard landed, and partway through the experiment, they lost control of something called the laser spectroscope, and it got undirected by an unknown force, and it caused it to hit Howard's planet, and so opened a portal that sent Howard here, and that's going to come back later. But Howard caused this massive energy inversion that dragged him through space, and it brought him to Earth, which doesn't make any sense. But in their lab, a single feather fell, and that one matches the one that Phil plucked earlier. So basically, they're wondering what the fuck came to Earth, and it was just Howard the Duck. Good thing it wasn't a big googly-eyed monster or anything. Howard wants to go to the lab so they can reverse the process and send it back home, and Jennings says that if we can generate enough power, maybe we can send you back, Howard. Maybe, I've noticed you're a lot quieter after the weird sex scene.
Yep.
It's this movie definitely has two halves.
It definitely does.
This is the scene that divides it. As soon as the pedophile shows up, Jeffrey Jones shows up, things get different. I think
it's not as fun.
No, maybe it's because of him, and that picks up eventually.
Yeah, it picks back up. But so the first half of this movie is pretty much whenever I think about this movie is what I remember. Mm-hmm. And the second half is a little more boring, and I don't remember very much of it.
Even though it has all the action stuff.
Yeah.
I prefer the weird, just Howard on Earth.
Yeah.
Doing
the diner thing is cool, but other than that...
Goes on a little while.
Yeah.
And so does
I almost fell asleep during the second half, so it was late.
The airplane's a little... I thought we'll get to it. Yeah. But we're already an hour and 7 minutes in,
and we're barely halfway through the movie.
I don't think Avengers Endgame is we're gonna talk. We talked about that as long as we're gonna end up talking about this one,
unless we get through the next hour of the movie really fast, which we probably will because there's not too much to talk about.
Yeah, that aside, so Jenny and Carter are talking, and Phil keeps telling Howard that, we could get so famous you'd be on the front of National Enquirer and Science Mag and whatever else.
We can get the cover of Science Digest.
Butt out, Four Eyes.
Yeah. Howard's like, I gotta go home tonight because then the alignment of the planets is gonna be over. Thor Ragnarok. Not Ragnarok. Dark World. I wish I was talking about Thor Ragnarok instead. The Howard suit is really good, but the hands are weird.
Yeah,
because
like
the pads are like
he has weird fingertips
and palms.
Yeah,
the palms are like human almost. They're
not covered in feathers.
They're like Caucasian.
It's
like
weird.
Just hands. So that's weird. You see a lot of that now, and that kind of weirds me out. But I mean, I guess it can't be a flawless suit, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, do you think that this suit is better than the CGI Howard in the Guardians and movies?
It's close, but I think I prefer the CGI one.
I like this one more just because, I mean, practical's always good. And
yeah,
I think that the new Howard the Duck looks too evil. Like, he's more comic accurate, but he looks more like Darkwing Duck than
kind of
what I want
but
to
I
look like.
think I don't think we've seen enough of Howard the Duck, the CGI one.
He looks better in Guardians 2 than he does in Guardians 1. Guardians 1...
Was he in Guardians 2?
Yeah.
Where?
He's on the hooker planet, the robot hooker planet. You see him and he says once you go quack, you never go back or whatever.
You know what they say, you're out of luck until you've gone duck.
Or something like that.
I don't remember that, but I've only
Oh,
seen
really?
that movie once.
Oh,
so.
man. That's one of the best ones.
But still, I don't think we've seen enough of him in the MCU to actually, like, be able to, like, say that's better or not.
If he had a movie, I think this is probably a better movie suit. Like
yeah,
you know, like I would rather watch this one for 2 hours than the other one.
I think as a cameo, the CGI one looks cooler, but if you had to do it in a movie, then I think this one looks better.
Yeah, it's weird though. Like I feel like all those people who really don't like this movie, like you can't fault the suit though. Like the suit's really good.
You have to admit that the suit is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So Howard and Bev have like some alone time, say goodbye. It's a pretty sweet moment.
Look, I'm gonna put in these Polaroids that we took at the club.
Thanks. These'll help. The guys back home are never gonna believe me.
What's this in my bed?
Souvenirs?
I'm gonna miss you a lot, Ducky.
Bev, I don't belong here.
And then Tim Robbins does a parody of the On the Waterfront speech. They're like, I could have been a contender.
Lily had the dolphins, Cousteau the whales, Goodall gorillas. I had a duck. I could have been a contender.
It's pretty funny. This is when his character turns around, I think.
Yeah, at this point. So pretty much when the movie starts to get less interesting, his character gets better.
Gets better, and then he becomes one of the better parts of the second half, which is interesting because he's one of the worst parts of the first half. And
at least they fixed him.
Yeah, and I really thought, right, because they just did an old movie speech, so I really thought they were going to go right into a Casablanca parody. I thought he was going to say, like, in all the alleys and all the cities and all the world, I had to crash into yours. He kind of says that, but he doesn't totally say it.
Of all the alleys in the world I could have fallen into that night, why did it have to be yours?
So
yeah, he says like a paraphrased version of that.
Yeah, which, you know, I guess.
It's good enough.
Yeah, fine, whatever. But so, yeah, they're all in the van. Everybody, Phil, Carter, Bev, and Howard, and they're going to meet Jennings at the lab.
Laser beam
lab. Spinning laser lab at the BMW hall. But, and yeah, you know, it's kind of somber and sad because they're all like, oh yeah, Howard's gonna go home and we're never gonna see him again. It sucks. It's pretty emotional actually. But there's this really beautiful matte painting of the lab that looks really good. Matte paintings for the win, guys. It's one of my favorite kind of effects in movies. You know, it's really cool. So they're breaking into the lab, like they're not supposed to be there, and so they get in there, and like the alarms are going off. And then this fucking bloody, like, soot-covered scientist runs out of the lab.
Ah, my eyes! My eyes!
yodel again. It was terrible. We have no right to tamper with the universe.
And everybody's running like crazy, and somebody says, "Holy Toledo!"
Holy Toledo!
Which, pretty sure that sounds like like a Full House
It does.
catchphrase.
I actually thought that they didn't say that, and I just heard it.
No,
But
I'm pretty sure they said it. So another fellow scientist is like, "Oh my God! So this time, well, basically Jennings took the full force of the blast, and now he's a supervillain." Spoiler alert: he's a supervillain now.
They just say that he disappeared. They didn't know where he
Yeah,
went.
they're like, "Oh yeah, he got the full force, and then I don't know where the fuck he is."
He's just gone.
Which, yeah, that's definitely just like as a villain origin. It's not that bad as a villain origin, but for a pretty shitty villain.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Pretty shitty villain for pretty shitty guy.
the villain in the movie, the villain in real life. Yeah, so they fear that we brought something else down, and like from another planet that isn't gonna be as nice as Howard. And now Howard can't get home, so that sucks. And so Howard's being interrogated by the police. The chief shows up, he sees Howard, and his reaction is our reaction to the movie. We're just like, this is fucking weird. What the fuck is going on? My God.
I've got rights, you know. I'm suing.
And so the cops pants Howard, they take all his clothes off, and this is the scene where I thought they were gonna take his they were gonna take his underwear off, and we're gonna see his duck dick, but we didn't. So it's pretty good when the cop says, "What's the charge, sir?" and the chief says,
"Illegal alien."
The chief is funny.
It's kind of a funny joke. I like it.
Yeah, it's funny. And Beverly says,
Stop manhandling him!
"They're not. He's doing his job. He's a criminal. They're taking him
Yeah.
out of there." They're probably for dissection, but anyway, so they trick the cop and they steal his gun, which is really a federal offense.
Yeah.
Kind of on the cop's side a little bit. They stole his gun. It's not okay. And so there's a moment when I think Tim Robbins is legitimately just laughing at the movie after the cop says that the duck got away.
Duck got away.
Shut up.
Like, he's not supposed to laugh, but he laughs and then it cuts. Like, I think it's like an outtake. There's some horrible cop dubbing in this movie because some really bad ADR for this guy who's like, "Oh, shoot to kill Howard, find him, fuck him up."
That also means he's dangerous.
What?
Extremely dangerous. Shoot to kill.
And so they run to Dr. Jennings, and he's all fucked up. Yeah, so Jennings is flipping the fuck out, but they get in his car and they get away. Or they think they're getting away, but then the cops are getting them. And then the chief says, "How do I explain a manhunt for a duck?" And the cop says,
"It's a duck hunt."
And so Jennings says that something evil has landed. And, I mean, you shouldn't seem to
not
know a
him.
lot about that, Jennings. And so they keep just crashing into shit because maybe Jennings shouldn't be driving the car. Why didn't they just let Beverly drive from the start?
I don't know. Like, literally before they even got in the car, it was very obvious that he's not the person
Spazzing
to drive.
the fuck out. He's covered in like soot. His hair looks like Doc Brown again, just like Christopher Lee last week. And he thinks that there's something inside him. There's clearly a monster. And 2019 is not gonna like this. When Jennings says, "I think I'm becoming something else," and Howard says,
"Oh, great, like a sex change or something."
Can't say that.
Yeah, that joke didn't age too well.
Maybe don't say that. Anyway, now Howard's driving the car. Well, he's not. I mean, Jennings'
steering
foot
the
is
car.
on the gas, but yeah. So Jennings is really sweaty, and he keeps saying that he's the end of the world, and they just keep making puns the whole time. They're like, "Oh, what'd you have for lunch?" or whatever.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
The world is in great danger.
Yeah, it certainly is when you're out on the highway.
Well, what did you have for lunch? Well, we'll stop at a bathroom, huh?
Howard again calls him a yo-yo.
Steer, you big yo-yo.
Which I gotta use on somebody. It's like in Spider-Man, rubbernecks. I love rubbernecks. I've called people that since. It sounds like a racist thing.
It does.
But I hope it's not.
Those dirty fucking rubbernecks.
I want them out of my country. They're driving, and they drive a bunch of hills, and they crash really close to a diner. Like, it's like an inch away from the window, and even the window like starts like rattling.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Yes, it's cool. I mean, they clearly reversed the shot, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
obviously.
So Jennings has been taken over by that alien life force, so he does this really goofy voice.
I'm not Jennings anymore. The transformation is complete.
It's really annoying. He's like Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And so they go into this cafe/sushi place where I was just really hoping nothing offensive happened. I don't think anything happened.
I think there was one kind of offensive thing.
This was 2 years after Temple of Doom. And I know for some reason you haven't seen Temple of Doom, but
because I don't watch
there's
movies.
a lot of racial weird racist stuff like monkey brains and Indian child slaves and stuff. But oh, and a guy later there's a sushi chef and he has a Temple of Doom t-shirt. There's also, I read on IMDb there's a Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back t-shirts in this scene, but I didn't see them. So yeah, so the everybody's kind of unnerved by Howard, but not as much as they should be again. And Jennings also, but they just like quickly adapt and they're just like, oh, okay, that's fine. And Howard says,
I'm gonna kill somebody.
which, yeah, me too. At the diner, they order some beers and Jennings talking about the end of the world and whatever, and he says that he is now one of the dark overlords of the universe, and he's gonna bring the portal to a demon planet with the laser machine so they can rule the Earth.
You are about to witness the end of the old world and the birth of the new.
Maybe this is the time to fucking shoot him in the head, because he probably is. They bring Howard eggs and he freaks the fuck out. It's pretty funny.
I'm into cannibalism or something?
Yeah, they bring him eggs, like a breakfast thing, even though I'm pretty sure it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's like, it's super dark out, and apparently that's their special is eggs.
Yeah, and maybe don't bring eggs to the child dressed in a duck costume.
This is a really weird thing because they're at a sushi bar, and their special is eggs.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, they order like the breakfast special, but it's 3 a.m.
I don't know. And why are they ordering beer at 3 a.m?
Because Howard's an alcoholic duck. He's an alcohol duck.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Oh, wait. You know what I just remembered? Because, so in the special features, they're talking about how they were originally going to get, like a 12-year-old kid to be in the Howard the Duck suit. And instead they got Ed Gale, who's a little person. He's like 3... I think they weren't originally going to cast him because he's like 3'5", and they wanted 3'2", but then they were just like, he's the best man for the job, let's do it. Because he had like a natural talent for like a sense of direction in the suit, because like, so when he couldn't see, he could navigate well.
he was saying that he was able, like, even though he couldn't see, he would just do like the entire scene backwards.
Yeah.
I just had the sense of knowing where I was. And then a lot of times I would rehearse backwards. So if I had to walk up to you 10 steps, I would walk backwards 10 steps. And then on action, walk forward 10 steps.
The reason I'm bringing it up is because do you think that 12-year-old would have done that scene with Beverly in the bed?
Let's move on. I don't want to think about that.
Okay, I just, that came up when I saw that in the documentary. I was like, oh.
That would make that scene
really
a whole lot worse.
Really bad, yeah.
If it wasn't bad before, then...
If it wasn't made worse by me reading
Oh, God.
An E.L. James story. Oh, yeah, this is pretty cool. With the Overlord's eyes, they start, like, glowing blue, and then he makes these ketchup and mustard bottles explode, which
Product placement.
Yeah, oh, and this is the scene we're talking about, where they shot in here for a month.
Yeah.
Because this is... Like, from a technical level, I really respect this scene, because there's practical effects, there's, like, the computer effects with the lightning, like, it's a mix of, like, old techniques and new techniques, and it's really good. I don't think I appreciate it as much as when I was watching it as I do in hindsight.
Yeah, there's, like, an entire, like, 10-minute scene that's, like, in this...
diner.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, like, explosions and shit. And, yeah, it took them an entire month to shoot it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah, no, I think
it shows that they spent a lot of time on it.
I love how Leah Thompson was talking about how, like, they would shoot her from every single angle, including the ketchup bottles angle. Like,
it's really hard to be funny when you've done every angle, including the ketchup's POV. When they got to the ketchup's POV, I was like, no!
The Overlord says that his powers are growing, and he shows them that he has this key card for the laser. And so Howard's like, fuck you, I'm taking that. You're evil, and I need to get home. So he grabs it, but then Howard, so he takes it, and then he gets electrocuted. And so now his face isn't only sweaty, but it's also, like, covered in, like, little skin lesions, it's like he's like shedding.
Yeah, so like as time goes on, he just looks progressively worse. Yeah, and I think the makeup actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, especially because then it more and more you can't tell it's Jeffrey Jones, which is good for us, I think.
But like it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really is.
Like whoever did the makeup for that did a really good job.
Yeah, it's oh man, I'm a big fan of his. What's his? I little tidbit. I'm really into effects stuff.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
makeup. It's Phil Tippett, did a lot of it. He worked on everything, especially a lot of Star Wars stuff. Yeah, and he's responsible for a lot of it, and especially a lot of the monster stuff, including the monster at the end, which obviously effects wise is really bad, but I think design wise is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So,
but we'll talk about that when it comes up.
We will. So these truckers show up, and they think that Howard is like Jennings' ventriloquist dummy, and so Howard's like, "Oh, fuck you guys" or whatever, and so he's like, "Oh, you made him say that? We're gonna beat the shit out of you."
You're a dead. What's this? The key to your duckmobile?
And so they're starting to cause some trouble, but as Beverly brings up again, he's a master of quack fu.
Better watch out, he's a master of quack fu!
And so he uses that quack food to beat him up like Three Stooges style, and everyone starts getting a pie in the face.
Yeah, I don't know where he's getting all these pies from.
I guess it's a diner. I guess they do pies. The R&R Diner, Twin Peaks reference again.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Every day, once a day, give yourself a present. Don't plan it. Don't wait for it. Just let it happen.
Oh, also he calls a guy a cracker.
This one's for you, cracker!
That's not something Howard the Duck should be using.
It's different than yo-yo. But, well, I mean, if he's already being transphobic, I guess he can be racist. And so it's almost like this movie's silly or something. This movie about this talking duck from space.
Yeah, okay, just imagine this. This scene is a talking duck from space pieing a bunch of truckers in a sushi bar.
Yeah. Well,
you can't
every once in a while,
can't make this shit up.
Every once in a while they cut back to Jeffrey Jones, who looks like he looks like the Crypt Keeper.
I'm Fearest Gup. Care for a chocolate?
And he's going,
He looks like fucking Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he does. But like in the transitionary period between Smeagol and Gollum.
It's my birthday, and I want it.
Everybody's just fighting in the diner, like it's like a fucking ball.
Yes, Gabe, it's like a ball.
Yeah, it's a fancy ball. It's like Beauty and the Beast. No, it's like a barroom brawl where everybody's just fucking fighting each other, but it's like in a Friendlies.
I wanna go to Friendlies.
And then there's a pretty funny moment that was probably in all the trailers when Beverly says,
He's my boyfriend!
That's disgusting.
And then so they tie Howard down to a cutting board and they're gonna fucking cut him up. In another really great line where Beverly's like,
Oh, there's gonna be more violence! I hate violence! You gotta go in there and beat him up!
They're seasoning Howard and the sushi chef is gonna cut his fucking head off.
Yeah, they're about there's literally a meat cleaver over his neck and they're about to decapitate him.
This is the second time where somebody's about to like stab Howard. Because he almost gets stabbed with the ice pick, like fucking Basic Instinct style. Jennings starts like glowing with electricity. And the trucker's trying to kill Jennings, but then he gets electrocuted, and I think he blows up. Or like, because I don't think you see him afterwards.
No, he just gets blown back. I think he doesn't die.
There's
or anything.
a guy later who like I don't know what happened to him. 'Cause he gets electrocuted. I think it's the cop later when they're like in the truck in the line, they're waiting.
Oh yeah.
Check. I think he kills a cop, which is pretty graphic. But Jennings frees Howard with like a floating cleaver. That's like it's really bad wire work.
Yeah.
It's like no one's gonna know what that is. Have you guys ever seen not the Phantom? What's the Shadow with Alec Baldwin?
Never
There's
even
a
heard
bit
of it.
with yeah, no one has, but there's a bit where there's like a CGI knife floating around. It's like that, but on wires. Jennings blows everything up, and everybody gets the fuck out of there. And he's just electrocuting random people who are like there with their kids, and it's pretty fucking great when Jennings uses the Force to like block Beverly and Howard from the doors. He like moves all these tables and chairs to barricade it.
Which, how they actually made that scene work is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right.
So
what was it again?
So in the documentary thing, they were talking about how they did it. How it looks in the movie is he just forces like all the tables and chairs and stuff to go in front of the doors. But how they actually did it is they just built the entire set tilted.
That's
so that
right.
when they shot it, everything just fell because the room's tilted,
It's
so
like
gravity just
Inception.
drops it.
Yeah.
So I think that was actually pretty cool how they made it work.
He lifts Howard up with the Force too, and he's making Howard spin in circles until he drops the code key. And so Howard hits a table so fucking hard that he gets knocked out. Yeah. And then Jennings kidnaps Beverly and they get in this huge semi-truck, and he tries to hit Howard, but it's like Toy Story, like he jumps under it. Beverly thinks that Howard got hit by the truck. This is pretty good, I guess, but it's kind of weird when Jennings says, "I need your body," and Beverly says,
We've heard that one before!
Jennings looks so gross at this point.
Is this when they do the weird, like, gross mouth thing?
Yeah, okay, so he needs some energy, so he, like, takes out the cigarette thing from the cigarette lighter, which obviously, if you don't know what that is, it's, I don't really know how to describe it. Basically, you have a socket in your car, and you have a cigarette lighter in there, and you pull it out, and then it's like a little circular opening. Oh. Oh, it's another weird sex allegory. So he shoots out his weird, gross claymation penis tongue, and he puts it into this cigarette lighter. Jesus, like this is getting really weird.
You know what it fucking looks like? It kind of looks like what the zombies in Resident Evil 4 turn into when you shoot their heads off. The weird knife thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kind
it
of looks
exactly
like that.
like that, but like 15 years beforehand.
Yeah, and specifically coming just out of their mouth instead of their entire head.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, Resident Evil 4 is fucking great, guys.
It is.
It's so good.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
The cops are talking to the people at the diner, and we see that Phil's been arrested, and Phil and Howard team up, and Howard just gets him out of the cop car really quick.
No, he doesn't. He climbs out of the front window.
Oh, that's right.
Which... Pretty sure you shouldn't be able to do that.
Because there's supposed to be like a barricade between the front and the back.
Yeah.
There's like a steel divider.
And also...
I've been in the back of a cop car. It's not comfortable. Not for being arrested, for the record. Just for a different reason, but...
Howard also just opens the door. The
it's
car
not
isn't locked at all.
Well, yeah, I guess these cops aren't very competent. But yeah, so they team up and they steal an airplane. It's a really bad bit when Phil says that he needs a toolbox, and so Howard says,
I know why you want a toolbox. You got a screw loose.
And so anyway, Howard is flying a fucking airplane. Or he's not flying it. Phil's flying it, isn't he? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Howard's in the front, so I think he is.
Anyway, Phil and Howard are in an airplane. And this is another, 10-minute action sequence. When the cops are after them, there's a pretty obvious green screen around here, even though a lot of this is real.
Yeah, they actually talked about them doing, having to get, somebody that actually professionally flies airplanes.
Like a stunt flyer. Yeah. Whenever you see Phil and Howard in the suit, like Tim Robbins and the puppet in the suit, I mean, it's clearly green screen.
Yeah.
But
some of it looks impressive though when they actually when it's
when
not
you're
green
actually
screen.
seeing it, it's really fucking cool. There's a stunt that the stunt flyer was talking about when you they do the loop to loop around the bridge. That's awesome.
So we're gonna fly the aircraft under a bridge, and we have a 100-foot hole that we have to hit. I'm gonna loop the aircraft, and the aircraft's gonna be upside down. Then we're gonna simulate come back under the bridge and go under it.
So
when they had to land it on top of a moving truck.
Yeah, that too. And the cops are after them. So back to Jennings and Beverly. They go to a power plant, and for some reason all the workers are just listening to Jennings. They all think he's weird, but they're just kind of following whatever he's doing. And he needs more power, so he breaks into the reactor and fucking overloads it onto him and himself. Back to Howard and Phil, they get lazy, and so they just park the plane on top of a truck. And finally they take off again. Yeah, there's some duck hunters, because I saw them on the TV. It's duck season, whatever. Duck season, rabbit season.
Devilishly clever.
They're doing duck calls. Howard shows up. You get your Wilhelm scream. It's a George Lucas production. Thank you very much. Jang and Bev back on the move. So they're going back to the lab, I think. This is the bit when he electrocutes the cop with green sparkly lightning, and he blows up a bunch of cars. When you play GTA and you sticky bomb a car on a highway. It's like that. And so the cops start just tearing apart Howard's plane. It's really obvious that a grown man is flying the plane, and he's not in a duck suit when you see the faraway shots. And Jennings and Bev arrive back at the lab, and Phil says that
he's a duck terrorist! He hijacked the plane!
About 15 years too early. But
oh my god.
The wings get severed by this open train car, and so now he just has to drive it like a go-kart. And they crash into a lake, and is right by the lab. And now it is finale time.
Oh no.
So yeah, the platform is Beverly is tied to this table on a platform. The platform's spinning like a fucking automobile display. And there's basically a BFG from Doom here, but it's called
Neutron Disintegrator.
And
we'll just call it the BFG.
It's the BFG. And Jennings is gonna try to turn Beverly into the Dark Overlord because, as previously mentioned, he needs her body. Howard and Phil get to the BFG. It's never been tested. It's like the destroyer gun from the Avengers.
So that's what it does.
So basically the gun's like, it's on like a dune buggy thing. And so they're like, oh, we're going to sneak up on Jennings and fuck him up. But then they accidentally launch it because they're really incompetent. And so they reveal their position immediately. And Phil uses a satellite dish like a Captain America shield to deflect some lightning. Then I think Phil gets electrocuted and I think his brain was fried. Like
if
Tony Stark.
Before.
Yeah. So Jennings uses wind breath to stop Howard.
He just suddenly has Superman's like freeze breath.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be freeze breath for a second. And so now it's time for the kind of final showdown. Not entirely, but this is the Thor, Captain America, Iron Man versus Thanos the first time of this movie, but on a 1,000% less grand
much lower scale.
So yeah, Howard fires up the BFG and Jennings is charging up his lightning powers. And in the background, I'm pretty sure that Leah Thompson is just, like, playing with some lights that are above her. Like if you look back at her, I don't think she knows she's in frame, so she's just, like, fucking around with the set. but you can clearly see
I hope so. I need to look at that again.
Yeah, and there's like, a Harry Potter-style red versus blue lightning battle where it just gets closer and closer, and there's, like, a big sonic boom explosion. You think Howard's dead, but in a big fucking shock, he's fine. Don't even worry about it. Now Jennings looks normal, and he's like, "Oh fuck, guys, that evil overlord, yeah, he's been released. It's clearly a trap." Also, for you comic nerds out there, the Dark Overlord is a character from the comic books. I don't remember. He has a different name. It's like Pazuzu. It's not. No, it's something
Cthulhu.
like that. Yeah, it's Bagul.
The symbol is associated with a pagan deity named Bagul.
So Phil and Beverly are arguing over whose day was worse after they unstrap her. It's like Thor and Star-Lord talking about who had the harsher time with their parents and family stuff.
What took you so long?
Oh, nothing. Just got arrested, shot at, handcuffed. I got thrown out of an airplane.
Strapped to this table for a million years.
Guys.
Before my father died, he told me that I had a half-sister was he imprisoned in hell. Then she returned home and stabbed me in the eye, so I had to kill her.
I mean, it's not a competition, but I've been through a lot. My father killed my mother, and then I had to kill my father.
Yeah, so they free Beverly. She's off that weird, apparently really freezing table. This is the set that was apparently it was like a fucking freezer. And so the Dark Overlord turns into a big crab monster, and it looks really bad because the composition is so off. Like,
yeah,
like the exposure is wrong. Like he doesn't. There's not a second where he looks like he's really.
It's very obviously put in later.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Because it's a claymation thing.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
and it's put in through CGI, and it doesn't look good at all.
No, it's really...
The design is cool.
The design's really
putting
cool.
It in is not.
Like I said, Phil Tippett, Phil Tippett's the man, but...
if they fix the lighting on it, then it would look a little cooler,
it looks so wrong. It's like the color correction is off, and the exposure's off. It's just like pasted in there so horribly.
I think...
It's like an Adobe plugin.
I think my favorite note that you have this entire time is in all caps. It has a vagina mouth.
It does. It
does.
It does.
It's really bad.
It's like a face hugger. Like it's got a weird vaginal, but man, this episode's gonna get flagged. We're gonna get taken off. Too hot for TV. Like Howard's so fucking clearly there. He's like clearly a guy in a suit. And it's so fucking obvious that it's not there. Like, even for the time.
Yeah.
And it has laser eyes. And it, like, grabs Howard with weird hentai tentacles. Yeah, so it activates the laser. It's going to bring down more of these things. And there's a Star Wars reference, because it's George Lucas production. And somebody says, "You may fire when ready." Which, Grand Moff Tarkin.
You may fire when ready.
You may fire when ready.
Yeah, so the arrival time 4 minutes. Oh my god, ticking clock. Oh my god, I bet they're not gonna save the day. But Jennings shows him Jennings throws him like a power cutter, and Phil and Beverly get electrocuted. They're like being like permanently electrocuted, like they're just constantly.
Apparently, they're being disintegrated.
Yeah, I guess so.
It almost turned into Infinity War.
It looks like It looks like in Batman 66 when Joker like joy buzzes people, there's just like this weird red outline around them. It looks like that. So Howard electrocutes the big monster guy with the neutron thing until it explodes, and now they need to destroy the machine so the other guys don't come. And like this is when you get your like hero sacrifice. It's pretty good. Like he gets his hero's moment where it's like, if I save the world, it means I can never go home again. And so he does. He destroys the machine, and Beverly thinks that he's dead and gives a good little speech, I think.
This world didn't treat you very good. But you saved it, didn't you?
So, oh my god, the day has been saved. Everybody, so they go back to the fucking club, and
song time.
It's fucking song time.
Howard the Duck.
They have a song all about Howard the Duck, and it is a fucking bop.
Get that planet on the phone. Ain't no time to waste. Tell him he ain't coming home. Now join the human race. They call him Howard the Duck. No way to conceal it. In the feathers touch, I love him apart.
This is the song I kind of infamously danced to in that Wendy's that one time.
Oh, it was this one?
Yeah, it was that one.
Okay, yeah, I'm not surprised.
That was a fucking great time. But yeah, so Howard's the new manager of the band, and it's a pretty great song, and one of the chicks has a guitar, and Howard's on stage, and he fucking plays the guitar. He has like a mini
Yeah, he has his own little
Strat.
guitar.
Yeah, and it's such fucking cheese, and I love it. And then it's credits, and then you get one last little moment after it. The first post-credit scene, perhaps.
Not bad for a duck from outer space.
You were great, Ducky.
And that is a great movie. It's so fun.
Yeah,
it's so much better than any of
do
the
we
other
even
ones.
need to talk about like our final thoughts? I think we've
Probably
gotten
not.
it
Let me
across
just-
pretty well.
I'll look at it and just see if there's anything. This movie is literally as good as it could be with such a crazy premise, and like after all these weird formulaic adventures that are just like kind of the same thing in all the TV movies where it's a guy and there's another guy and he's got to team up with some people to defeat
to stop
the
a guy from blowing up.
From throwing up. Maybe
throwing
Doctor
up on
Strange did. But yeah, so it's all the same, and so it's so great to see all these like humans with like kind of crazy powers, but it's all just like it's them bending metal bars that are made of rubber or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we get this crazy space adventure with like fucking really great effects and a lot of great moments and like some touching stuff and some really great gags and jokes and stuff and like actual people in the movie other than Christopher Lee, rest in peace. But yeah, it's ridiculous and it's so corny and it's not for everybody. This is not. I understand why people don't like it, I guess, but I think it's great because there's a lot of bad puns and awkward sexual humor, but I think that's kind of part of the charm. Maybe it goes a little too far with the bath with the bathhouse and stuff. Which yes, I know I said bath. I'm like fucking Rich Evans, where I just can't say any words.
All of the valuable auction items, which came from like a dollar store and they're made out of plaster, are sitting on a folding table that's covered with a dirty tablecloth.
What's a table?
But I just love it. I don't know. I think it's great. I think that it's like the music and the costuming is perfect. Like it's really fucking good. I think that helps the movie a lot. Like those are his strongest suits for sure. And Leah Thompson fucking kills it. And Tim Robbins is entertaining in the second half. As ridiculous as his performance is, like it's so cheese. It's such fucking cheese. Which this whole movie is. Like I don't know how many times I can say it, but like there's some stuff towards the end that maybe drags on. I think towards the airplane sequence, I was kind of like, all right, let's get on with it. Other than that, I don't know. It's just a pretty great time. Yeah, I don't know. I do think the first half is definitely better than the second half, but like it's so much fun, and it's awesome that this exists. And it's kind of just hard not to enjoy it while you're watching it.
Yeah, if it wasn't obvious from all the like past episodes, I love this movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of not a great thing to admit, but I do really like this movie.
I'm not ashamed of loving Howard the Duck. I think it's fun.
Yeah,
I think it gets a bad rep.
There's like a 30-minute chunk where the movie's like a little boring.
Yeah.
But I think it makes up for it by the end.
With the crazy, ridiculous, like, oh, this is really shitty monster.
Like, I think that like 30-minute chunk of it being boring is okay when the rest of like the hour and a half runtime is so much
it's
better.
Not as boring as anything in any of the other movies.
Not at all.
Fucking Captain America and Simon sitting in an airplane for 5 minutes.
And
with
I
no
think
dialogue.
I think seeing all the stuff behind the scenes makes me appreciate it like a little bit more because there was a lot of work put into
those
this
documentaries
movie.
Were incredible.
Yeah,
I was so glad that those were on there.
There's a lot of people that worked on this movie that like really care about it.
Pretty much everybody.
It
seemed like a positive environment.
It shows. Like it's. I think for the time, a lot of the stuff was pretty impressive. Like some of the practical effects.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously that claymation monster's really bad, but like
the design was cool.
You have to understand that there's a progression. Like having stuff like that lets us learn from our mistakes to make better stuff now.
And at the time, it was kind of limited. You couldn't do too much, so it's understandable why it looked kind of off because like there hadn't been too many things like that before. So
it's kind of revolutionary in a way, even if that part of it doesn't really hold up very well. I think probably as a film I'm gonna give it 7.8 duck tits out of 10, but
0.8.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an 8, guys. Round up. Come on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid 8 Play Duck magazines out of 10.
Yeah. But, okay, well, don't go anywhere yet, because we have lots of special features to talk about. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about all of these.
It's already been an hour. It's about to be 2 hours.
We're literally at how long the movie is exactly. 1 hour, 50 minutes. But, you know, that isn't bad time, I guess. I guess. When we talked about fun facts for 15 minutes at the start.
Yeah, it was like
half
an hour.
And yeah, you definitely expect these episodes to be a little longer from this point on. Yeah, maybe not the next couple, but as soon as we get to Blade, everything's gonna be.
I don't think we're having any more hour and 10-minute episodes after this.
Well, we'll see how much material Hulk gives us.
Well, other than Hulk, I think Hulk might be a little bump, but
it's got Thor in it.
Oh God.
And Daredevil in different movies, so there's things to look forward to, and the Kingpin. Oh God, those are gonna be a time. So Willard Hayek, the director and the writer, he went to film school with George Lucas. They worked together on American Graffiti, which is George Lucas's first real movie, and that's how he met Harrison Ford. I've actually never seen that. That's a movie I've always heard about and meant to see, but I
have that on DVD for some reason.
Really? I just never gotten to it. I need to check that out. And yeah, his wife and writing partner Gloria Katz, they worked on this together, and they worked on that. George Lucas was a big fan of Howard the Duck comics because, like I was saying, they're awesome. Because it's kind of like a film noir type thing with an absurdist element they were talking about.
They're stupid.
They're weird. They're dumb. They're fun though. It's just like the movie. They're just really corny and fun, I think. I mean, I guess they're not that corny if he's trying to kill himself.
Yeah, or fun.
Basically, the appeal was just how crazy it is, obviously. So before the movie, Katz and Hayek met with Steve Gerber for all these ideas, and originally the story was going to be Howard the Duck goes to Hawaii, which that was the plan for Beetlejuice 2, was it was going to be Beetlejuice goes Hawaiian, but that never happened. Are they making Beetlejuice 2
Yeah,
now?
I think so.
A horrible idea.
Yeah, it is. But,
Jesus,
everybody's so old.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Except Winona Ryder. She's all right. Yeah, so they didn't want to include Duck World, but they were like, I think Universal made them, and they wanted it to be animated, but Universal didn't have a big picture for that year, so they were like, no, if we're letting you make Howard the Duck, at least make it live action, and I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I think it being animated, it wouldn't have been as good.
And now we get to talk about Leah Thompson, who's the best, because she wanted Beverly to look like a cross between Madonna and Cyndi Lauper, which I think she accomplished that pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on.
She talked about how, like, they did her hair every day for 2 hours, and she really wished she did a wig.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, her hair's always feathered and crazy, so. Yeah, Tim Robbins was new, so he was really anxious about getting the part, which I think that's why he hands it up so much, is just because it's his first role, and he's trying to, like, make something for himself.
Yeah, probably.
It's like trying to impress the drama teacher kind of acting.
Pretty much, he's just trying too hard.
Yeah, oh, he is. And, yeah, they used doubles and puppets originally to make Howard, but they like all the feathers would come off, and I think some of them blew up or something.
Yeah, apparently some of them just blew up.
They have a motor in the back, so the mouth will move and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they blew up. But yeah, Hayek was talking about how Howard's, like, once Howard's neck opened up, like when they were shooting, like, the Terminator, and I want to see that footage.
Yeah, I thought they were going to show that, and I was so disappointed that they didn't.
Imagine what that would look like?
That'd be fucking awesome.
That'd be so, I can just imagine it, like, the neck splits open.
Yeah.
and everyone's just watching in horror on set. That'd be incredible. And everybody thought it was terrible, so they used suits, which obviously made it much better. And originally they had the 12-year-old kid, but it was too claustrophobic for them, so they got the man, the myth, the legend, Ed Gale, who went on to work on, like, he was stunt double.
He was on Chucky.
Yeah, he was stunt double of Child's Play original up until Bride of Chucky, because he retired in 2003. Seed came out in 2004, so he basically, ever since he's been working. Child's Play was only 2 years after this, so yeah, and he worked with Mel Brooks on Spaceballs. Mel Brooks, that's a big deal. Blazing Saddles, Steven Frankenstein, and he's worked with a lot of people. He worked with the Coens and George Clooney, Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Like, he's done a lot of fucking great stuff. So yeah, they got him. He was 2 inches too tall, but eventually he took over the role. So yeah, Ed did all the stunts. He does my favorite Ed Gale thing in anything is actually in Leprechaun 3. There's this...
He did it for Leprechaun?
Only the third one.
Oh, okay.
But which is the one where Leprechaun goes to Vegas.
Oh,
but
God.
Literally the best part of that movie is how they defeat the Leprechaun, where they set him on fire and he does like a bunch of flips. And Ed Gale didn't do any of the rest of that movie. He only did the fire stunt. But that's the best part of that movie. So that's incredible. He got set on fire. Oh my God. And Ed and Leah apparently just had really good chemistry. And it was one of the first animatronic movement puppets, like the mouth and stuff. And so there was a lot of coordination involved. And they, like we were talking about, Ed's natural talent for direction.
Yeah, but so for like the facial movements and stuff, they actually had like puppeteers with like remotes to control it.
Well,
so
that's why there was the motor in the back.
Yeah, so that's why there was so much coordination with it, because each person had like a specific facial feature. So like one person had to just control like where the eyes were and when they blinked, and then somebody else had to control like the mouth. Weren't
they talking about how like it was like the radio signals would get caught up in if like somebody was on the phone or whatever?
Yeah, whenever anybody would like open their garage or anything, his face would just get fucked up because it would just like mess up like the waves or whatever.
Yeah, that's great. That's really cool too. And apparently it was like super hot in the suit. I don't remember what it was, but they had to like shove a hair dryer down the mouth.
Yeah, so he could cool down.
Yeah, Jesus. And yeah, all the vocals were added later, like we talked about. They got Chip Zien to do the actual voice. Who does a great job, I think. Yeah, they really wanted us to think that she was gonna fuck that duck. They were talking about.
When it came to the love scene, we decided to try to make it seem like, oh my God, this is going to become a sex scene.
Yeah, the head feather erection, like we talked about that one, which is a weird thing to say. Apparently that was they worked a long time to get that done.
And his head feathers go up, which took months of technological stuff to get his head feathers to go erect.
You know, say what you will, they did it. They got it to work. Movies are weird. Yeah, Leah has a really good sense of humor, and she thought that scene was really funny.
Well, I have a very off-center kind of sense of humor, so I appreciated the whole idea of having a love scene with a duck. I thought it was hilarious.
And yeah, costume design all around amazing. On like all the singers and the punks, and especially like obviously the ducks go without saying, but it's just a great looking movie, including Jennings too.
Yeah, I think just like the whole like aesthetic of the movie was really nice.
Yeah, it's kind of grimy and fun.
I think grimy is kind of a gross word to use for it.
I mean like when you're going through the streets of Cleveland, like towards the start, I think that stuff is kind of like, it's like effective atmosphere.
Yeah. And
then later it gets more fun. I think like Duck World has a really distinct feel to it, and then the dingy alleys and stuff, and then I don't know. I just think all that stuff's really good. They're really great at crafting an environment, which I guess when you get the guy who made Star Wars, he's gonna be good at that. And the final battle was it was in San Francisco. It was in like this naval installation, and yeah, it was freezing. Leah was like really sick and cold during the whole thing.
Yeah, supposedly they like between takes they would just throw a blanket over her because she was tied down, so like she couldn't really do anything.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, like I was talking about, she's just like fucking playing with lights and stuff. Which I mean, what are you gonna do? I'm really sorry this episode's going on a while, but you know, hopefully you're learning something.
Hopefully it's entertaining.
Yeah, I hope so. There were hundreds of actors who auditioned for the voice of Howard. Chip Zien was big on Broadway, was what it was, and he didn't come in until the movie was completed. Ben Burke did the sound, and Ben Burke is fucking awesome. He's done like all the Star Wars sound stuff, like sound design, not score or anything, but he's really great. I think all the sound effects for like the electrocution stuff is great. They put all that effort into the Howard suit because like if you couldn't believe Howard, then you can't really believe the movie, which is definitely true. And when they screened it, there just wasn't a reaction from the studio.
Supposedly, like, they just kind of watched it and then they didn't say anything. They just left.
Yeah, which that's not what you want, is it? And obviously people hated this movie. It sucks. Leah was like really scared to act again after this, like, because she was like embarrassed or whatever.
All she had done was this and Back to the Future, so she had a massive success and then a fucking bomb right after.
And this is just the last couple things I have. Mel Brooks loved Howard the Duck because of course he did, because he's weird, so that's why he casted Ed in Spaceballs.
Well, the first assistant director on Howard the Duck was Dan Colesrud, and he introduced me to Mel Brooks. And, you know, Mel was looking at him and looking at me and he goes, "How did you two meet?" And he said he was Howard the Duck. Mel Brooks stood up and said, "Anybody who's in Howard the Duck can be in my movie." And I was in space. He shook my hands, and then I was in Spaceballs.
I love Mel Brooks, guys. And people definitely started to like it a lot more, and then it became a cult classic, like we talked about. I think that is all we have. Was there another thing?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it, guys. I mean, yeah. I'm glad that we're finally breaking into real movies.
Finally,
it's about time. Howard the Duck's great. I would say just give it a fair chance. If you don't like it after the first 15 minutes, I mean, turn it off. But I don't know. I think it's really fun. I think it's really underrated, and I'm glad it exists. I'm glad we live in a world where Howard the Duck exists.
Yeah,
it's this crazy little time capsule.
Yeah, it seems like a kind of a weird, like, kind of out of place movie with the MCU being like kind of, well, not even kind of, like a lot more serious than this.
Well, yeah, and then
I mean, like earlier on, because I know now it's like
wacky space stuff.
Fucking Guardians of the Galaxy
Jeff Goldblum,
exists.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Oh my god, Jeff Goldblum
phase 1 Marvel compared to this, and
crazy.
with like Blade and like X-Men and shit.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like, so like this seems like it's just kind of like a really random like wacky movie, and then there's just like a bunch of serious ones, and then they don't really go back to being like wacky again for a while. So
until maybe like
I'd say probably not even until Guardians.
Yeah, maybe not.
Everything's pretty serious until Guardians,
and
then everything
right.
lightens up a little.
Yeah, Jesus.
And that's what, like halfway through phase 2, like.
Yeah, right towards the end. That's the second to last movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like what came after that? It was like Ant-Man.
Age of Ultron, Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And
so like
Civil War starts phase 3. So,
yeah. So
shit.
I think pretty much it didn't start getting like really like not serious anymore until after Civil War, probably.
Yeah. As soon as Ragnarok kicked off, maybe. Yeah, even Doctor Strange is pretty serious. But once like we get Guardians 2 and Homecoming and Ragnarok, things
yeah,
like
there was just like a couple years of like the movies just being like.
And it's not like there aren't fun ones around. Like,
yeah, there's always, I feel like there was always like jokes and everything, but like now they're like really focused on jokes.
Like Amazing Spider-Man 2 is pretty silly.
Oh yeah.
And stuff.
What happened to your face? It's filthy.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I was cleaning the chimney.
We have no chimney.
What?
It's not like there's nothing, but it's definitely, it gets a lot more somber at a point, which is probably Blade onward. I don't think that's a bad thing, it's just the era. But it's really nice to have this light little movie. Like, it comes in a white case. Like, it comes in a white case that, like that's what kids' movies come in. Like, Disney movies. So, it's definitely a lot more lighthearted compared to fucking Blade, where people are getting their heads
and like
chopped off.
And the box art for the movie looks like a kid's movie.
Well,
like,
yeah, because it's a confused movie. It's obviously not a kid's movie, but sometimes it is. It's a weird little thing. And should we say what we're doing next week, or should we leave it ambiguous for now? Because we do have a pretty big deal next week.
Yeah, we have something that's a pretty big deal, and we're not doing Hulk next week. We're staying on Howard the Duck for another week.
Yeah, not to talk about the movie.
Yeah, do you want to...
I guess we can say it. So, we're gonna, just in like an hour now,
like an hour.
We're gonna actually Skype with Ed Gale and ask him some questions. Ed Gale, of course, we've talked about a lot this episode because he was Howard the Duck.
Yeah, he pretty much was.
He was the star of the film.
So
he didn't do the voice, but like he's Howard.
He was the guy in the suit for Howard, so he pretty much was Howard the Duck.
He was Howard the Duck. So we're gonna get to interview Howard the Duck next week. It's gonna be great. Yeah, we're gonna try to get some good stuff.
Yeah, so
I got a lot of questions.
Hopefully you guys enjoy that. I think I know we're definitely gonna enjoy
Oh my
it.
God,
That's gonna
yeah.
be
I'm texting with him all week, little behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's
He's
gonna be
really nice.
It's gonna be a cool time.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really cool.
I can't fucking wait. Yeah, well, definitely look out for that. Oh, all the episodes are on YouTube now, guys. So I just yesterday I was having a really fucking slow day, so I was like, I'm gonna put all of them on there, and I'll definitely try to be more consistent with that, especially since we only have 2 weeks of school left. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to be a lot more consistent with that. But yeah, so if listening on here isn't always accessible for you on Spotify or iTunes or Google or wherever,
YouTube is the easiest.
check out YouTube. Definitely just subscribe, like everything, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Marvel Movie Pod. You can find us on Gmail at marvelmoviepod.at. Oh fuck.
Fuck.
This is another
marvelmoviepod.at.
Yeah, .@fuck.
.@fuck at gmail.com.
This is another. Don't go to that. This is another like N-Tunes. Sometimes I just can't talk. I try to run this pod real smooth, and sometimes there's some bumps on the road.
It's kind of hard to have a audio only show when you can't speak English.
Well, I am a master of quack fu, for the record.
No one laughs at a master of quack fu.
Gmail is marvelmoviepod@gmail.com. I am at Instagram at flipped egg, on Twitter at flipped egg, but the 3 is an E. Franny is a refugee from the United States, so he will not give you his private information.
Yeah, I'm an illegal alien. If you find out anything about me, I'll have to go back over. I'll have to go back over to Mexico.
Yeah, he's a duck terrorist.
Yeah.
He hijacked the plane.
He's a duck terrorist! He hijacked the plane!
But I hope you didn't mind this a little more weirdly erotic episode.
Yeah,
this Marvel movie.
This one was a little more awkward than usual.
But this movie's a little more awkward than usual. So, but it's better.
Yeah,
okay.
It's definitely the best one we've seen so far.
Yeah. So next week, Ed Gale interview. Enjoy that. Goodbye.